This is a breaking news alert from 24-Hour News 8.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Sterling.
And I'm Susan Shaw. We are working two major stories tonight. Target 8 is breaking details of a storage locker full of disturbing items, including a bondage kit belonging to a former Christian radio host charged with raping an 11-year-old boy. We're finding out about what was kept there.
But first, a stabbing in Allegan County leaves one person dead and another hurt. We do want to take you live to Wayland, and that's where 24-Hour News 8's Henry Erb just learned some new information within the last half hour. Henry?
Yeah, information right now is still pretty thin, but here's what we found out here at the Wayland State Police Post just a few minutes ago. Right now, crime scene investigators are still going over the house in the 3000 block of 10th Street south of Wayland. They've gotten search warrants to make everything legal. We know that somebody slashed the throats of two women in that house. An older woman survived. She's in a Grand Rapids hospital, but a 21-year-old woman is dead tonight. Troopers are not telling us yet who they are. They had a call during the noon hour, and when troopers got there, they saw a man running from the house.
Upon arrival, the officers encountered an individual outside the residence that was attempting to elude the officers. Short pursuit on foot, and the subject was secured and taken into custody.
State police say that man too had some superficial injuries, so he was taken to a hospital before they take him to jail. They also say that they found a knife at the scene, but at this point they say they haven't actually connected that to this crime. Live in Wayland, Henry Erb, 24-Hour News 8.
Turning now to our other breaking news, Target 8 has disturbing details now in the case against a Christian radio host accused of raping a boy. Target 8 investigator Marley Ginter is in the newsroom with details that we first broke online. Marley?
Sue, these are very upsetting details indeed. Just listen to this. Handcuffs, a padlock, children's clothing, all items that investigators say were found in a storage unit rented by former WCSG radio host John Balyo. Now, according to federal investigators, John Balyo, arrested Friday for sexual assault, told them about this storage unit when they interviewed him. When feds searched the locker at West River Storage Suites, they found a suitcase that contained duct tape, 4 pairs of handcuffs, rubber gloves, chains, a padlock, and zip ties. Also in that suitcase, feds tell us they discovered children's socks, children's Halloween costumes, and what agents described as a sadomasochistic doll bound and gagged. In addition to the suitcase, agents found magazines and newspaper articles about missing children, as well as children's obituaries. Balyo is in the Calhoun County Jail tonight, charged with sexually assaulting a boy in a motel room in Battle Creek. Now, we have a crew at the storage unit right now. Of course, we will bring you any new details as they come in. At the live desk, Marley Ginter, 24-Hour News 8.
All right, Marley, thank you. Crews are still on the scene of a fire at a pool supply store on Alpine Avenue. We brought this as breaking news all morning long. About 7 hours after the first call went out, the black smoke and the flames, they finally died down. And 24-Hour News 8's Danny Carlson has been in Alpine Township all day long and joins us live now with what's happening. Danny?
You know what, Brian, within about the past minute and a half when Marley was actually on television, the last fire truck actually left this scene here on Alpine Avenue. And this is a unique sight for us in the about 6 hours that we have been out here. This is the first time that we can actually see clearly over the highway, over the building where Fox Pools used to be, to the fields beyond, because for the rest of today, that view had been covered by thick smoke.
Sitting in disbelief on the street in front of their former work, Lauren Fox and Becca Nagy relived what happened minutes before Fox Pools went up in smoke.
We thought it'd be, something quick fix. Like, she thought it was a pump smoking, and then it just lit and everything started to burn. And with all the chemicals back there, like, we knew that it was going to be bad.
And just minutes after the smoke sighting, the building went up. Hot flames licked the roof and thick black smoke billowed into the sky, a fire punctuated by explosions. The pool supply store held chlorine, bromine, and muriatic acid, chemicals that could become more dangerous with water, leading to the decision to let it burn.
Good news is this is in a rural area and there's no downwind worries, if you will, of the smoke getting and causing any health concerns for people.
It's just sad to see like all of this. This is like our home pretty much in the summer. This is where we all hang out, and so But we'll rebuild.
According to an EPA report, some of these chemicals used in pools can react with small amounts of water. They're meant to be put in large amounts of water, like pools. Another thing that firefighters here were thinking about is a lot of people in this area do use the groundwater, well water systems, so they didn't want any chemicals, if they did use water, to put the fire out, to actually run off into the groundwater. Another thing, since this is such a rural area, no one needed to be evacuated. Live in Alpine Township tonight, Danny Carlson, 24-Hour News 8.
Danny, thank you. There are more chances today to see rain and even some thunderstorms in parts of West Michigan. Let's send things over to the chief. Bill Steffen is tracking where we could see more rain. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Sue. We've got billowy clouds there in the background behind you and a couple of showers to track on Storm Track Live. The first one is just to the west of Grand Rapids. You can see that's producing some moderate to heavy rainfall. Another little sprinkle of rain down here southeast of Kalamazoo. We got a few more sprinkles of rain off to the north along the Newaygo-Oceana County border. Well, let's see if we can zoom into a few of these right here and show you what's exactly going on. I'll stop the loop here for just a second. This particular shower producing some heavy rain. That gets to 131 here by around 536. So if you're in the far northeastern part of Ottawa County into western Kent County, you'll be able to see that shower. This one increasing a bit will cross the border here at 517. I also want to point out that there are some showers off to the north and even some lightning connected with these. I'll put this in motion here for just a second. These have been trying to drop southeast. So if you were toward the Big Rapids area, these may be down in your area here in just a little bit too. Perhaps about 6:30 or so. Temperatures are on the mild side, still pretty muggy out there. We're at 77 Grand Rapids, temperatures close to 80 down there at Kalamazoo and Battle Creek. Heading out this evening, there is that chance of a shower for the evening period. Those should die off after sunset. There will be some patchy fog here a little bit later on tonight. Coming up, we'll take a look at a very hot weekend.
Thank you, Bill. Evidence was laid out today against a woman accused of killing her ex-boyfriend. Prosecutors in Ottawa County say Marianne Castorina and Anthony De La Garza murdered Jose Hernandez outside his Park Township apartment in January. Investigators say that the motive was money. Castorina was the beneficiary of multiple insurance policies that Hernandez had. Part of the evidence against her is a note from her detailing a murder. The detective who found the note took the stand today.
I noticed that there were scribble marks on it, and I immediately noted it was a writing of what I believe to be a murder, or instructions to a murder, and it was immediately noted it was the scene of what we were investigating.
Castorina's hearing will continue next month. De La Garza waived his hearing today, meaning his case will go to trial.
As of today, same-sex marriages in Indiana are legal. The federal judge has struck down the state's ban on same-sex marriage. That ruling took effect immediately. The judge says Indiana's ban was unconstitutional. The Indiana Attorney General's office says it will appeal, and this is the latest state to have a gay marriage ban struck down. Many, including Michigan, are on hold pending appeals. Another state's ban on gay marriage is also being ruled unconstitutional. A federal appeals court made that ruling today on Utah's ban on gay marriage. The court put the implementation of its decision on hold pending an anticipated appeal. The state of Utah can ask the court to rehear the matter before the full court or take it to the Supreme Court. Gay marriage in Utah will likely remain on hold pending the appeal.
House Speaker John Boehner says that he plans to file a lawsuit against President Obama. Boehner told reporters the president has tried to erode the power of the legislative branch by issuing executive orders to circumvent Congress. Those include the president's ordering the Department of Homeland Security to defer deporting many young people brought to the United States illegally. President Obama announced a pen and phone strategy in his second term to use his powers to work around what he views as a Congress that obstructs needed actions. Speaker Boehner today said that the action won't be an impeachment, but a legal challenge.
What we've seen clearly over the last 5 years is an effort to erode the power of the legislative branch. I believe the president is not faithfully executing the laws of our country.
There's no word on when the legal action may be filed.
2 people are facing charges accused of staging a robbery at a Kent County party store. Police say that Sean Young reported Bailey's General Store on Belding Road had been robbed on Monday morning. However, today police say this was an inside job and Young had his friend, John Town, rob the place. Both were charged today with larceny from a building and being a habitual offender. Young's also charged with embezzlement.
We have an alert to pass along to you out of Kent County. MDOT is closing all ramps at M6 and Kalamazoo Avenue tonight. The closures start at 1 a.m. and will continue through Friday night. MDOT is resurfacing the ramps, so you'll want to make sure that you find an alternate route. Protecting your cell phone. That's what a ruling is doing today from the Supreme Court. We're letting you know what it means for your privacy.
What you're doing right now may lead to an early death. We're breaking down a new study looking at how many hours a day we sit.
Getting to know the candidates who want to be Grand Rapids' next police chief. They're holding a public forum tonight, but ahead of that meeting, tonight at 5:30, the four men are talking to us about why they want the job.
Asking the questions, questioning the answers. This is 24-Hour News 8. Always tracking, always alerting. This is Storm Team 8.
Well, we got just a couple of thunder showers out there to track. We have one right here in the Coopersville-Marne area, and that is producing a couple of cracks of thunder, I'm told. And we have another one line of showers and thunder showers up here southeast of Ludington to just south of Cadillac. Those are working southeast. If you're in northern Newaygo County and into Mecosta County, you may catch one of those. Let's see if we can track a few of these for you. Again, no severe weather connected with any of these, but you can see the one down here to the south, the Marne, Coopersville area, and that will continue to move off toward the east. We'll see if we can track that into the east here for you. Let's see, right about there. We've got it at Alpine Township 532. Belmont area 543, and Childsdale, where the old dam is, there at about 546 or so. Again, if we expand out just a little bit here, you can see the thunder showers off to the north, and I'll see if we can get one of those down to Big Rapids. That will likely be at around 7:05 or so. Any of those could contain some brief heavy rainfall, a little bit of lightning, and also possibly a gust or two of wind, nothing severe. Partly cloudy and mild for the most part this evening. Our temperatures will fall to 68 by around 11 o'clock. We're at 77 degrees at the current time. It's kind of muggy out there at the current time. Winds are pretty light, and they'll stay that way for tonight and during the day tomorrow. Here's what we're tracking. An isolated shower, thunder shower this evening. Some patchy fog redevelops here late tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow, but will become partly sunny for both tomorrow and on Friday. And a warm and humid weekend from Saturday all the way into Monday. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s, and one of those 3 days could even touch 90. Most of tomorrow looks partly sunny. High temperature about 80 in Grand Rapids. Winds north-northeast around 5 to 10 miles an hour. If you're at the lake breeze clips in, and you'll be able to see temperatures peak at around 73, with temperatures falling a bit during the afternoon, perhaps back down to around 70. These current water temperatures, again, mostly in the 60s. Waves tomorrow, once again, should be calm to 2 feet. So the 8-day forecast, again, a chance of a shower, thunder shower this evening. They'll be pretty isolated, and probably the odds of any one spot getting rain would be around 20%. We'll see temperatures back up to 80 tomorrow, 85 Friday, and there's the heat, 89, 88, 89 here for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Good bet for some scattered showers and storms, especially late Sunday and then Monday into early Tuesday as the front comes on through.
Phil, thank you. The Cleveland area is dealing with record-breaking rain. Parts of Ohio were hit hard by heavy rains last night. The Cleveland Hopkins Airport received 3.5 inches of rain, setting a new daily rainfall record for June 24th. The old record was 2.11 inches in June in 1873.
Diane Sawyer is stepping down as anchor of ABC's World News. The network announced that she'll leave in August. Sawyer released a statement saying that she'll remain full-time with ABC, working on primetime specials and other news reports. She'll be replaced on the nightly newscast by current weekend World News anchor David Muir. That'll happen in September. And Good Morning America co-host George Stephanopoulos will have the title of Chief Anchor and will handle big breaking news stories and elections.
The way some Americans watch TV on the internet is coming to an abrupt end.
Up next, we are taking you inside today's big Supreme Court ruling against Aereo.
We're getting ready to celebrate 20 years of park parties coming up in about 20 minutes. We have everything you need to know to join in on the free family fun.
And still ahead at 5:50 as World Cup fever takes hold. Team USA is getting ready for their next game. We have what you need to know before the first goals are scored.
The U.S. Supreme Court has essentially put an abrupt halt to a way that some Americans were watching television on the internet.
That's right. The court says a company known as Aereo has to stop selling broadcasts of live television because they weren't paying for it. Chris Clackham has more on what today's ruling means.
The Supreme Court's decision dealt with rebroadcast on the internet of over-the-air television by Aereo, an internet company that operates in about a dozen cities.
This was all about retransmission fees that the broadcast networks have been receiving from cable networks and satellite providers in recent years.
The problem was Aereo wasn't paying those retransmission fees. So the networks, cable companies, and a few others sued to make Aereo stop.
Aereo was basically doing something the cable companies had to pay for, and only they were doing it for free.
Aereo argued, though, it was only offering an advanced antenna service for access to over-the-air TV. But the big difference being Aereo's antennas sold those TV signals to subscribers' desktops, laptops, or smartphones.
They're getting content, they're sending it to users, they're not having to pay for it. That's why I've always thought they were not going to win this case.
The justices sided 6-3 with the TV networks and cable companies, putting Aereo's future in doubt.
Two things could happen. They could shut down, or they could go to the broadcast networks and try to negotiate a deal where they will compensate the networks for rebroadcasting and selling their signal.
In a statement, Aereo's CEO said the company's disappointed in the outcome, but our work is not done. Broadcast television should not be available only to those who can afford to pay for the cable or satellite bundle, which means the average viewer's choice remains whatever cable or satellite offers. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Another big case the Supreme Court took on today involves your cell phone. The High Court unanimously ruled today that police officers must first get a search warrant before searching your phone. Right now, if you're arrested, officers routinely pat you down for weapons and demand you empty your pockets. They can look for weapons, drugs, and stolen goods. They can also take your cell phone and turn it off. Justices ruled today that smartphones have so much information on them that they are different than everything else we carry.
Changes are coming to the requirements that students here in Michigan need to graduate from high school. Governor Snyder signed a pair of bills into law today. They rewrite a provision that gives students flexibility to meet the Algebra 2 credit by taking welding or other career and tech education classes. Michigan requires students to complete 2 years of a foreign language in high school, but now students can also meet that requirement in grades K through 8.
Detroit has shut off water to some residents, and now the United Nations is getting involved. The UN says the shutoffs are because overdue bills violate international human rights. A right to water and sanitation expert says that water shutoffs are permissible if the customer is not paying but actually can pay the bill. $90 million is still owed to the water department by 90,000 active customers.
You may be doing something right this second that could double your risk for an early death. Sitting. New research from the American Heart Association finds sedentary behavior or watching at least 3 hours of TV a day, it might double the risk of dying early. The study found no link between early death and excessive computer time, though. Some experts suggest the issue with too much TV is that we tend to snack mindlessly while watching shows. Doctors recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate physical activity each week to keep our hearts healthy.
Here's a look at what we have for you coming up at 5:30. In a few hours, you have the first chance to meet with the men wanting to be Grand Rapids' next police chief. But tonight, we're talking with the 4 candidates about why they want the job.
Nearly 25 years after Shannon Siders was murdered, we're getting a look at information that's shedding a new light on the men accused in her death.
And let's go straight to Storm Track Live. Thunder shower coming into downtown Grand Rapids. Kind of an interesting situation. You have one cell here producing some heavy rain. That's moving off toward the southeast, and this one newly developed moving off to the east. These are going to merge right over the city. Look for some brief heavy rain, gusty winds, and maybe even some small hail. Coming up, we'll track them for you straight ahead.
Always tracking, always alerting. This is Storm Team 8.
All right, let's go back to Storm Track Live. We've got a small thunder shower coming into the Grand Rapids area at the current time. Not a lot of lightning with this, but certainly some heavy rain. And you can see these two showers here have merged. The southern one just kind of develops here and then moves off toward the east-northeast. And the main one right here is moving more southeast. So these are merging and coming together right over western Kent County. I'll stop them here for just a second. You can see we've got red here indicating some very heavy rain. Could even be a little bit of small hail in there. No severe weather is indicated, but this will continue to merge together and then move off toward the east. So we'll track this for you. I want to start with the leading edge of this as it comes on through and take it up to right about there. Grand Rapids, well, the east side of Grand Rapids at 541. We're looking at Ada about 607, Cascade 609. This will be coming into your area. Brief heavy rain, can't rule out some gusty winds. Again, no severe weather indicated at the current time. Here's a look at the live picture from our GVSU camera. Traffic moving along pretty slowly. The heaviest rain hasn't gotten to downtown yet, but it's knocking on the door, as you can see, spreading off to the west there through Walker. We're at 77 here in Grand Rapids, 79 Kalamazoo and Battle Creek. We will have that chance of a shower, thunder shower early tonight. After that, some patchy fog develops for late tonight. Coming up, we're going to tell you about a hot weekend ahead.
All right, thank you, Bill. The four men who want to be Grand Rapids' next police chief are in Grand Rapids now, getting ready for the first of two public interviews.
We got a chance to talk to each of the candidates before the meeting tonight, and 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFergie is live in studio right now. Joe.
Sue Bryan, the meeting is set to start at 7 o'clock, followed by another forum tomorrow night at the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum. Now, there were smaller closed meetings with other members of the community earlier today. We were the only TV camera allowed in one of those sessions, and afterwards, we'll get a chance to interview the final four. Now, competition is tough. They all come highly recommended, so we asked each one of them, how do you sell yourself?
I'm a straight shooter, and I come right at you, and I believe in just being honest and transparent in all that I do in life. And so I'm just one of those individuals that have passion about people, passion about getting the job done, and also passion about the city and employees.
In my current command, we've managed to cut the budget, increase the clearance rate, and decrease the crime rate. At the same time, we've raised the level of satisfaction with the community. By working hand in hand, it's all about relationships, police work, and I take pride in my ability to build relationships.
You be yourself, okay? It's not a beauty contest. You talk from the heart on what you believe and what you feel and how you police. I'm a representative of the community that I serve, and I'll be candid about that. I don't look at the chief any different than I look at you or him.
You just be who you are. Okay, the four candidates are all very good. We all fit the profile. That's why we're here. So we just explain what we believe, very customer oriented. I'm very community oriented. I believe in prevention, reduction, to lead us to a better, more safer community.
The first forum begins at 7 o'clock at Cesar Chavez Elementary. That's on Granville Avenue. Now, this will give Spanish-speaking members of the community a chance to ask questions of the candidates. Tomorrow night, they'll meet the public again from 6 to 8 at the Ford Presidential Museum.
Okay, Joe, thank you. Here's a look at what's leading the news right now. One person was killed and another is severely hurt after a stabbing south of Wayland. It happened at a home in the 3000 block of 10th Street in Shelbyville Township around 12:45. A 21-year-old woman was found dead in the home. Both victims had cuts to their necks. A male suspect was found outside the home and arrested.
Target 8 has learned that a former Christian radio host charged with raping an 11-year-old boy had rented a storage unit that was full of disturbing items. Federal agents say John Balyo told investigators about that unit in Plainfield Township, and in the unit, authorities found a suitcase with several items, including a bondage kit. Balyo's been charged with 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct. A large fire at Fox Pools on Alpine Avenue is finally out tonight. Fire crews let the large blaze burn because of environmental concerns with chemical runoff. No one was hurt. Investigators are still trying to figure out what happened.
It took investigators nearly 25 years to arrest 2 suspects in the Shannon Siders murder. Tonight, we are learning more about her death and some of the evidence against the men now charged. 24-hour News 8's Marley Ginter is live in studio tonight with what we know about this. Marley?
Well, Sue, Matthew and Paul Jones are both charged in the 1989 murder. In the years that followed, court documents we sifted through show they told a lot of people's stories about what happened that night. In the court documents, a detective lays out part of the case against them. Not only were the Jones brothers the last people seen with Siders the night the 18-year-old disappeared in Newaygo County, but witnesses say they saw them in the woods standing over her limp and bloody body. Other witnesses say that in the years since, the brothers have admitted they raped and killed Siders, but have often changed their stories about what happened that night. Investigators say Shannon Siders had gone out with a group of friends the night of June 18, 1989. That group included the Jones brothers. Her body was later found in the woods close to where the Jones brothers were seen with her. Siders died from blunt force trauma to the head and had several other injuries. Matthew and Paul Jones are due back in court tomorrow. Brian?
Thank you, Marley. And we're finding out more tonight about how police tried tracking a convicted killer who made his way to West Michigan.
24-hour News 8's Heather Walker is digging into the background of Sean James Jarrett, who's charged with assaulting an elderly woman in Granville and suspected in the killing of a Walker woman.
We drove 350 miles to Warren, Ohio, because we wanted to know more about Sean Jarrett, the man accused of raping and beating an 85-year-old Granville woman and the suspect of a Grand Rapids woman's murder. Tonight, we traced him here to Warren, Ohio. This is where he went after he was released from prison. Tonight, we went to the home where he stayed with his parents and talked to neighbors to learn more about his activity and his family. We've discovered that police were warned before he arrived. Coming up at 6, our one-on-one with the Howland police chief, who calls Jarrett a career criminal. And why is that?
Well, we only know about the crimes that he's been caught committing or suspected of committing. You usually don't catch the guy on his first try. And how many crimes did he commit that we don't know about?
Hear what else he had to say and what Jarrett's mother told him after Jarrett was released. That's coming up at 6. In Warren, Ohio, Heather Walker, 24-hour News 8.
Turning now to the crisis in Iraq, and the Iraqi military says it's hitting back against the Islamist militants who have made some big gains in the country over the last 2 weeks. NBC's Ayman Molhoudin is in northern Iraq with more.
After suffering some major setbacks over the course of the last 2 weeks and losing a lot of territory to ISIS fighters and effectively saw thousands of its troops desert, the Iraqi army seems to be regrouping and trying to launch small-scale counteroffensive operations against some of those ISIS targets across the country. Today, a spokesperson for the Iraqi military once again reasserted that it's his government that controls the Beiji oil refinery and that it has now been able to repel an attack by ISIS fighters on the largest refinery here in Iraq. The Iraqi military did also say it carried out several airstrikes and killed dozens of fighters belonging to the al-Qaeda-linked group.
We need to remember that ISIL is a terrorist army that threatens not only Iraq, but threatens every country in the region which is opposed to it, and Europe and the United States.
Meanwhile, the Jordanian military has stepped up its presence along the Jordanian-Iraqi border. It has reinforced positions after ISIS fighters managed to overtake yet another town along the border. For his part, though, embattled Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki says he is committed to the constitutional process in this country and vows to try and form a government that represents the broad section of the Iraqi population as quickly as possible. But there are some questions as to whether or not his government can actually form any kind of national salvation or national unity government, as has been called for by some of Prime Minister Maliki's major political opposition. Ayman Molhoudin, NBC News, Erbil, Iraq.
A stolen car and a chase, and police say a 16-year-old was behind the wheel. Officers tried stopping the car near Stadium and Howard around 2 o'clock this morning. The driver then took off down Stadium Drive and crashed into parked vehicles at Express Auto before rolling the car. Police found the teen with a loaded handgun. He's now being held in Kalamazoo's juvenile home.
A no-show contractor that Target 8 had been tracking for weeks showed up in court today. Jeffrey Tenelsoff faces charges of larceny by conversion. He's accused of taking money for work and not performing that work. This morning, he asked for a court-appointed attorney. Tenzelhoff is facing similar charges in the city of Grand Rapids. He was arraigned on that charge yesterday.
The State Court of Appeals is upholding the conviction and sentence of a former Cedar Springs teacher who was convicted of having a sexual relationship with a student. John Youngkind's relationship with the girl led to her getting pregnant and him buying her a medication to help her have an abortion. Youngkind was sentenced to between 40 months and 15 years in prison. He argued testimony about the abortion should not have been admitted. He also argued against the way his sentence was calculated. The Court of Appeals disagreed and upheld both the verdict and the sentence. He was making fireworks in his home when they exploded in his kitchen. Police in Portage were called to the 50-year-old man's home in Fairfield Street after an explosion around 10 o'clock last night. When officers arrived, they found the man with severe burns. Police say the man was attempting to use raw explosives to make fireworks. Windows at the home were blown out, and it appeared that the garage also sustained damage.
It is the official sign of summer. Miranda's park parties are almost here.
Coming up next, Miranda is joining us live in studio. We have everything you need to know to enjoy free family fun all summer long.
A brand new event's kicking off tonight in West Michigan. Coming up, we're getting you ready for the first ever Freedom Cruise, and we're letting you know how it's helping local vets.
And then later at 5:50, Team USA is getting ready for its third World Cup game. We're taking a look at the game against Germany and our chances of winning.
And welcome back. Let's take a look at how the market wrapped today on Wall Street. All the major indices posting some modest gains of the day. The Dow was up of almost 49.5 points. The Nasdaq and the S&P following suit. Crude oil trading steady at $106.81 a barrel.
Well, it is the official sign that summer is here. We are just one day away from Miranda's park parties, and this year's parties are going to be better than ever as we mark 20 years of free family fun. Miranda joining us right now tonight to help us get ready for the park parties. Thank you for joining us. 20 years.
I know, Sue, I feel old when you say that. It's hard to believe that for 20 years we've been bringing free family fun into communities around West Michigan. And I look back at that and I think, wow, that's incredible. We looked at numbers, that's over 500,000 kids impacted by these parties.
It's amazing. And speaking of numbers, a lot of people go, thousands of people go to these park parties.
They do.
What's it like to go to one of these?
It is an awesome experience. The best part is it doesn't matter where you're from. You don't have to bring any money. There's no strings attached, no parking fees, nothing. Just drive the van load of kids into Lamar Park tomorrow and get ready for fun. We'll start with a nutritious lunch. That's with the USDA and the Michigan Department of Ed. We'll be serving that for anyone 18 and under at 11:30. Then Park Party Fun goes from noon to 2, and that includes things like the zip line, and I know you and Brian are going to be there tomorrow.
That's right, we will.
I'm hoping you can get on that zip line or the super slide and give it a whirl.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so lots of activities like that. Over 51 vendors and nonprofit organizations providing services for families. So a lot of opportunities to walk around, collect information, play some games, have some fun.
Yes, a lot of stuff. And talk about some of the things that are here.
Oh, well, this is all party fun. So our friends at Meijer, who have actually been with me for 20 years, providing free stuff for kids, are going to have, while supplies last, cupcakes for everybody.
Wow.
We're going to have True Moo ice cream. It's a low-fat product from my friends at Country Fresh, so that's great. T-shirts will be thrown from the stage. We'll have hundreds of them, so you can join me and we'll throw them into the crowd.
Bet. I'll be there.
And just lots of opportunities for families to have fun together. Also, Goodwill Industries will have a truck there tomorrow, and we're asking families to bring a bag of gently used items. Make that donation, we'll trade you for a Craig's Cruiser Activity Pass. So there's opportunities to do good, to have some fun, and mostly just spend time together.
So as far as Goodwill being involved, have we done that in the past?
Certain parties we have, so we're excited to have that truck there. They'll collect probably 100 to 200 bags of items, and this is the perfect time to go through your kids' closets, think about what you can give, because when you give, you're giving it to the next family, and it's a great way to share.
That's right, and you're helping out another family, and also you get something in return.
Yes, it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about any advice for party goers, because it does get busy. There are long lines sometimes, and a lot of people want to take part in all of these activities, and it is a lot of fun.
So my best advice is I would arrive to Lamar Park by about 11 a.m. Walk around, let the kids look at all the different activities. And if your child really wants to do the climbing wall or really wants to try the Dixie Twister, say, all right, we're going to go pick up our lunch and then we're going to head to that line and we're going to get in that line so you're the first one there. And then pick up a big backpack from Priority Health and walk around and collect all the cool stuff we have for families. I'd also suggest people bring their own water bottles and make sure you have sunscreen for the kids.
That's a good idea. First one's Lamar Park tomorrow in Wyoming, and then of course we have more for you. We have that information. Well, here it is. We have a graphic for you right now, but also we have that information at woodtv.com. So make sure and join us, and congratulations on 20 years of park parties,
Thank
Miranda.
you. It's an exciting time, certainly a milestone.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Miranda.
Just about 24 hours ago, there were nearly 170 members of the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight wrapping up a packed day of visiting memorials in Washington, D.C. With them was our 24-hour News 8's Rick Albin, and Rick joins us now to talk about that trip and what you're working on for 6 o'clock you came in last night, late last night. Big day.
It was an amazing day, and we're going to have a lot of these pieces going forward. It was just about this time that we started heading back to Dulles International Airport last night, Brian. You know, Dulles should have been the least memorable stop of the day. No offense to the good folks that run the place, but it's just another impersonal airport. One I've literally flown in and out of dozens of times, nothing remarkable until yesterday. And then something most remarkable happened there. I want to share that with you. I also want to give you an idea of just what kind of logistical beast this flight is. The Mid-Michigan Honor Flight provided passage free of charge for 77 World War II veterans, but that was far from all. They all visited the World War II Memorial, but again, that was far from all of it. And all of the surprises were not at the big venues, or for that matter, not all just out east. It was a day full of the unexpected that I suspect the veterans will not soon forget. And this is just the first, as I said, of a number of pieces we're preparing about that flight. Interest from you, our viewers, has been high. Tomorrow's story, we'll try to answer some of your questions. A lot of you want to know how you get involved, but tonight, coming up at 6, a remarkable day in Rewind, if you will.
Well, a thunder shower over Grand Rapids. We've had reports of nickel-size hail in Walker and marble-size hail in Marne. You can see some heavy rain, mainly on the south and southwest sides of Grand Rapids at the current time. Downtown is right in here. This is tracking off toward the east-southeast, toward Whitneyville, Alaska, and Alto. It contains some small hail, some gusty winds, and certainly some brief heavy rainfall. Coming up, we'll track this for you, and we'll tell you what's ahead for tomorrow and the weekend.
Always tracking, always alerting. This is Storm Team 8.
Here's a thunder shower coming through Grand Rapids. Again, nickel-sized hail in Walker, marble-sized hail in Marne. It is tracking off toward the east-southeast. The red color indicates some heavy rain associated with this, and it will continue to drift off toward the east-southeast within the next hour or so as it moves through Kent County. So we'll see if we can stop her here for just a second. I want to see if I can track this for you. There's another scan coming. And we'll move this on out and show you that the storm will be into the Cascade area pretty shortly, all the way to Alaska here by 6:30. And I want to maybe track the back edge of this as well. If you're here in downtown Grand Rapids, by around 6:15 or so, this should be pretty much east of you, and the rain will have tapered on off. Just a real quick view from the long range right here. You can see the cell that's right over Grand Rapids. There are other showers and thunder showers up north in Owego County that are drifting east-southeast that may very well get into the Big Rapids and Mount Pleasant areas here in a little bit. Let me just quick track that for you. That's into Big Rapids about 7:20, Mount Pleasant about 7:44. Here's the way it looks in downtown Grand Rapids. Traffic moving along slowly on 131. Some fairly heavy rain, and again the possibility of some hail. Occasional lightning we've seen on the Skycam, but of course while I'm showing it live on the air, there probably won't be any lightning. So here's the way it looks for this evening. As the thunder shower passes, will become partly cloudy, 68 degrees by around 11 o'clock tonight. Wind should be light, but may pick up a little bit around where the thunder shower is. 75 was the temperature at the airport last hour. As the thunder shower comes through, we'll likely drop into the upper 60s briefly. Wind's kind of variable, as you can see, around some of these thunder showers. In Grand Rapids, the wind was east here, last report we had. There will be some patchy fog developing a little bit later on tonight. We've got some reduced visibilities at times for late tonight and tomorrow. Partly sunny for tomorrow and on Friday, and then boy, we're going to be cooking over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90. Tomorrow, a pretty good day for Miranda's Park Party, 80 degrees, partly cloudy skies, fairly pleasant. Humidity will be down just a touch in the afternoon. If you want to be a little cooler, head to the lake where temperatures will be in the low 70s here during the afternoon. At the lake tomorrow, waves once again should be calm to 2 feet. 8-day forecast, temperature around 80 tomorrow, 85 on Friday. 2 dry days for Thursday, Friday. Slight chance of a thundershower Saturday. The most likely time for showers and storms will come late Sunday and then again late Monday into Monday night.
Phil, thank you. Hundreds of motorcycles and classic cars are in West Michigan right now for the Freedom Cruise.
This is the first year for that event, which is aimed at helping our local veterans. Organizers say this is a first for West Michigan. Part of the event is the nonprofit called Finish the Mission Veteran Relief Fund that'll help those who have served in the military after their service is completed. The goal is to raise $100,000. There are events happening every day, today through Sunday. And if you'd like more information, we have a link set up over at woodtv.com.
World Cup fever is taking over.
That's right. Up next, we have what you need to know before Team USA hits the field tomorrow for their next game.
Coming up at 6 o'clock, he's a convicted killer, now accused of beating an elderly Granville woman. Tonight, we take you to a small Ohio town to find out more about Sean Jarrett and how police there tried to track him. World Cup fever has hit the United States. Sunday's game against Portugal drew a record number of viewers for a soccer game.
And the numbers figure to be just as big tomorrow for the U.S.'s final game of pool play. Jack Doles joining us in studio now with a look at the matchup against Germany.
Yeah, a win or a tie and the United States advances to the elimination round. That would make it back-to-back World Cups. The United States has done that, which is something this country has never done before. Jurgen Klinsmann put his team through a light workout today, and this must feel really strange for him. He coached Germany to a third-place finish in the 2006 World Cup. Now he's trying to knock them out of the tournament. Before the World Cup, Klinsmann made headlines when he said the U.S. team didn't have a realistic chance of winning this tournament, but 2 strong performances have given him and this team quite a bit of confidence.
How they did it against Ghana, they did it against Portugal, and I want them to do the same against Germany. Just give everything you have, give the extra mile, give tremendous energy and positive determination, and then we'll get a result. We are very well capable to beat Germany. This World Cup is full of surprises, and we always said that. Since a half a year we say that it's going to be a World Cup full of surprises. We want to be one of those surprises.
All right, U.S. and Germany play at noon tomorrow. Win the game and they win the group. Tie and they advance. If Ghana and Portugal tie, the U.S. advances no matter what happens. They can also advance with a loss, but they'd have to keep that game with Germany close and then hope Ghana and Portugal play a close game. It's a little confusing, but right now the U.S. is in a good place. They just have to play well tomorrow.
Okay, we'll be watching that. All right, Jack, thank you. Here's a look at what we have coming up on 24-Hour News 8 at 6. We are taking you live to the storage facility where a Christian radio host turned accused child predator kept what the feds are calling a bondage kit.
And then a story that'll give you the chills, the good kind. Rick Albin takes you through the most memorable moments from a very special day, his trip to Washington with 70 World War II vets.